Week 8 of the fantasy football season is here. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty happy By-Mageddon is over. But that means we're going to have a lot more tough start-sit decisions to make. So, of course, we have to bring in Sports Illustrated senior fantasy analyst Michael Fabiano to help us with those tough start-sit decisions. Okay, Fabs, let's go through the list. Starting at the quarterback position, who are we starting? Who are we sitting this Sunday?
We're starting Kirk Cousins without question. He's been pretty solid for fantasy managers, scoring 22-plus points in 4 of his first 6 games. Now he's got the Cowboys, our beloved Dallas Cowboys, this weekend. The over-under on SI Sportsbook is at 53.5. The Cowboys have given up the 9th most fantasy points to quarterbacks. This is going to be a high-scoring affair. So Captain Kirk, beam me up some fantasy points. And then the player that I'm sitting is Sam Darnold, and he's got one of the best matchups of any quarterback in the league. But it's Halloween, right? So he's seeing ghosts, and a lot of them. He has averaged 7.9 fantasy points over his last 3 games. He was benched for P.J. Walker, of all people, last week, and I just don't trust Darnold right now. He seems to have regressed from those first 3 games where he looked pretty good.
I wonder if one of those ghosts is Adam Gase. All right, let's head over to the running back position. Last week, our list of top running backs was basically a list of who? Do we have any studs this week that we can rely on, or is it a similar situation?
Well, I liked Darrell Henderson last week, and I was dead wrong. And when I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. But you know what? I'm going back to the well again on Darrell Henderson because he's got the Texans. I mean, really, this is a great matchup. Their defense has allowed 8 total touchdowns and an average of more than 25 fantasy points per game to running backs, so Henderson should bounce back. Now, a player that I don't like this week is Myles Gaskin. He's actually been pretty good over the last 3 weeks, 2 games with over 17 points, including 1 game with nearly 32. But he is a risk-reward flex at best this week against Buffalo. Their defense has given up just 4 touchdowns and the second fewest fantasy points per game to opposing running backs.
Good words of warning there. It's a very non-scientific observation, but I've also noticed Myles Gaskin has good week, bad week, good week, bad week, so I think it's bad week if I look at the chart. All right, wide receiver position. This is the absolute toughest one for me this week. I've got the Cowboys back, the Bills back, the Vikings back, a lot of studs back, and I have to make some really tough decisions. So help me, who am I just setting and forgetting this week?
But admit it, though, it felt really good to put those studs back in your lineup, right? I mean, it felt really good. One guy you want to keep in your lineup is Courtland Sutton. You know, he's been great, 23-plus fantasy points in 2 of his last 3 games. The Broncos are getting Jerry Jeudy back, who I would also start, but the matchup is very good. Washington's defense has allowed 7 touchdowns and the second most fantasy points to receivers lined out wide. So start Courtland Sutton. And my sit, well, one of them is Julio Jones. And, folks, I get it. It's Julio Jones. He's got the big name value. He is putting up a dreadful fantasy points per game average this season. In fact, he has failed to score more than 8.9 points in all but 1 game. And we're not even sure if he's going to finish the game because he's got a problematic hamstring. And the last time he played the Colts, 7.7 fantasy points back in week 3. I'm sorry, Julio. Find your way to my bench.
I'm sorry, Julio, too. You and Allen Robinson are 2 of the biggest disappointments for me this season. But if you want to win, you got to make those tough decisions. Okay, finally, we head over to that tight end position, the one that I always put someone in and just kind of send up a little prayer for.
Yeah, I think Dallas Goedert will answer that prayer against the Detroit Lions. Last week, he was very good. He gave you 12 fantasy points in his first game as the, quote, featured tight end without Zach Ertz. This week, he's got the Lions. Their defense has given up 10-plus fantasy points to 4 tight ends, including Robert Tonyan and C.J. Uzomah. So Goddard's in a good spot here. And a tight end to sit, though, this week is Jared Cook. Now, he's produced 12-plus fantasy points in 2 of his last 3 games, so some people may be looking to stream him. But the Patriots have only allowed 1 tight end to score more than 9.2 fantasy points in a game against them this season. That was Dalton Schultz. How about them Cowboys? So Jared Cook is a fade for me in Week 8.
Fantastic advice, as always. And hey, listen, everybody, if you love this advice, be sure you tune in this Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to YouTube right here. Push that subscribe button for Sports Illustrated and you will not miss the notification. We will be taking your start sit questions live. Michael Fabiano, Bill Enright, and I will help you dominate your week 8. So hit that subscribe button. You won't miss a single waiver wire video, start and sit in video, or Sunday afternoon live stream. And in the meantime, head over to si.com/fantasy for all the start sits at every position.